Doing some draft prep on NFL Now with Bucky Brooks as we talk about Eli Harold, 247-pound, 6'3", outside linebacker from Virginia. Bucky, your initial evaluation of him.
You know, he's a very intriguing prospect, a guy that does a lot of things at UVA. He comes off the edge. He has good quickness, a nice closing burst, does a great job of getting to the quarterback. I also like his ability to play against the run. And so when you're looking at edge players, you want guys that can really give you contributions in multiple areas. Eli Harold is a guy that certainly can do that.
Bucky, you wrote that he was a guy who really helped himself out in Indy, and one of his attributes is his versatility. What kind of a scheme is the best fit for him?
I think a 3-4 outside linebacker is the ideal spot for Eli Harold. This is a guy, the last 2 years, he has 15.5 sacks, does a great job of really getting to the quarterback, and a lot of it is on sheer effort and determination. There we see him dropping into coverage. We see the athleticism, the fluidity. In a 3-4 defense where you give him an opportunity to do multiple things, you can get a lot of production for him. I'm not saying that he's a dominant player on your front line, but he's a complementary player that really helps if you have a guy that is an impact player on the opposite side.
You said that he reminds you of Olivier Vernon, defensive end for the Dolphins. How are their games similar?
You know, their games are similar because much like Olivier Vernon, he's a complementary player. Olivier Vernon plays opposite Cameron Wake. Cameron Wake is a dominant guy, the guy that offenses really put a lot of attention and emphasis on. But when you go one-on-one with Vernon, he hurts you from the backside. I think Eli Harold can be a player like that as he continues to develop the tools in his toolbox and becomes an outstanding pass rusher. He's a guy that can give you double-digit sacks, but if not, he'd be a guy that gives you 7 sacks, a couple interceptions, and a ton of tackles as a hybrid player in a 3-4 defense.
As I mentioned before, you'd written in one of your columns that he helped himself out in Indianapolis. How much has he moved in this offseason as we get ready for the draft?
Well, I think he's in conversation as a bottom of the first-round player. So many teams run a 3-4 defense looking for that edge player to be the final piece of the puzzle. He's a guy that can do that. Complimentary player, not a dominant player, but a guy that really can fit a role in the right scheme.
All right, good stuff, Bucky. We are counting down to the draft, and you can as well at NFL.com/collegefootball.